You will need 1 and 1/4 cup of plain flour or maida, 1/4 cup of cocoa powder, half a cup of butter. I'm using white unsalted butter today. You can also use salted butter. 1 and 1/4 cup of powdered sugar, 1 and 1/4 cup of milk, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, half a teaspoon of instant coffee, 3/4 teaspoon of baking powder, half a teaspoon of baking soda, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So let us start making it. If you have watched any other of our eggless baking without oven recipe, you know it. We are going to add some salt to it. This is our idli cooker. You can also use a normal pressure cooker or any pot that's huge like so. And if you are using pressure cooker, make sure you're not putting up the whistle over there. Now I'm going to place a wire stand over here. Here comes my perforated plate. Now I'm going to cover this idli cooker and heat this up in medium flame while we are ready with the batter. Add your lemon juice to your milk. Stir it once and leave it for about 4 to 5 minutes. Here I have a mixing bowl in which I am going to add my room temperature butter. Now I am going to beat this once. I am going to add in my powdered sugar. Now beat this both really well for about 3 to 4 minutes. You can also use an electric mixer if you wish. I am using my hand whisk today. Now this looks good. We are going to sift in our dry ingredients now. Into this sieve, I am going to add in my plain flour, salt, baking powder, baking soda, coffee, and cocoa. Sieve this twice. I'm going to add about half of our dry mixture to this. After 5 minutes the milk will thicken up and it will become buttermilk. To this I'm going to add my buttermilk. Now mix this through. To this I'm going to add rest of our flour mixture. Now mix this well. A quick tip, never overmix your cake batter. Always use a spatula at the end and fold it like so. Now let's bake our cake. I'm going to grease my cake tin now. This is 7-inch spring-form cake tin. I'm greasing it with some oil. Place a butter paper. Now we're going to grease the butter paper and the sides of the pan. Add your cake batter to your cake tin. Give it a tap. Now this goes into our cooker for about 35 to 40 minutes in medium to low flame. If you are going to bake this in a normal electric oven, bake at 180 degrees centigrade for 35 minutes in a preheated oven. Our cake baked for 35 minutes and now it's ready. We are going to wait until it cools down to room temperature and then we are going to keep this in the refrigerator for a minimum of 4 hours and then we are going to do the icing of the cake. Let's make some ganache quick and fast. Here I have 150 milliliters of cream and 150 grams of dark chocolate. So let us start making it. In a saucepan going on medium heat, add in your cream. We are going to heat this up until it starts simmering. You can check out our recipe how to make chocolate ganache for a detailed version. So cream has started bubbling from the sides. We are going to switch off the flame and add in our chocolate to this. Try to cover all the chocolate chunks inside the cream and leave this for about a minute or so. And chop your chocolate very fine so that you get a very smooth and creamy ganache. A couple of seconds later, now we are going to start whisking it through. So our chocolate ganache is absolutely smooth and looks delicious. We are going to transfer this into a bowl. Chocolate and cream, I can't resist over any time. Can you resist over it? Do let me know in the comment sections below. Now I'm going to pop this ganache in the refrigerator for a couple of minutes so that it cools down to room temperature and then we're going to work with it. For the chocolate mousse, you will need 250 milliliters of cream, powdered sugar 1/4 cup and 125 grams of chopped chocolate. So let us start making it. Into this bowl, I'm going to add in my whipping cream. If you are wondering if you could use low fat 25% cream, you can click the annotation to see how to whip low fat 25% cream. Now I'm going to whip this whipping cream today. Now I'm going to add in my powdered sugar to this. Now whip this to stiff peaks. Here I have some water simmering. I'm going to place my bowl of chocolate over it. Stir the chocolate. Stirring it well is more important than heating, so stir more and heat less. So our chocolate is melted. I'm going to switch off the flame. I'm going to stir this really well and keep this aside for a few moments so that it comes down to room temperature. Our chocolate is cool to touch now. Now I'm going to temper the chocolate with whipped cream. So I have taken a little bit of our whipped cream and I'm going to add whipped cream to this. What this does is this tempers the chocolate. If you add the chocolate directly to the whipped cream, the chocolate will solidify and it will be hard to mix. We'll get crystals while eating the whipped cream. So our chocolate is tempered. Now we are going to add this to our whipped cream. Now we are going to whip this really well. So our mousse is ready. Now let's prepare our cake. After keeping the ganache in the refrigerator for about an hour or so, our ganache is set up. Now let's whip our ganache. This isn't cooperating with me today, so we are going to manage with lightly whipped chocolate ganache. So here is our cake. I'm going to loosen the edges. Now open the tin. Peel the parchment paper off. Our cake looks moist and delicious. I'm going to level the top at the first. Always use a big knife and cut in this motion. Now we are going to divide the cake, so it's up to you. You want to make 3 layers or 2 layers. Today I am opting for 2 layers. Again cut in same motion. So our layers are cut. Now let's assemble our cake. Here I have my trusty turntable. This is a plate and there is a bowl below it. So this is our turntable. Now let's assemble our cake. I'm going to take this little bit of mousse and apply it here and place our bottommost layer of the cake. This cake is actually very moist. You won't need any sugar syrup, but I'm just adding a little bit of sugar syrup. This is equal amounts of water and sugar mixed together. Now in comes our ganache. Spread it just a little bit. Now comes my second layer. A few drops of our sugar syrup. This was as easy as that. Now we just have to cover our cake with our mousse. So I am placing few dollops of our mousse. I prefer not to keep the mousse in the refrigerator, otherwise you will have a hard time spreading your mousse in the cake. Now we are going to spread the mousse. Take any palette knife, spatula or any big knife like so and spread it in this motion. The ganache is kind of popping out, so I'm going to cover the edges first. As the ganache inside is pretty soft and the mousse is pretty stiff, I'm having a hard time spreading it. No worries, I'm going to keep this in the freezer for a few moments and then we're going to spread it. Now we're going to smoothen our cake. Take little bit of your mousse and cover everything. Take little bit of your mousse and place it like so and smoothen it like this. Smoothen the top as well. Our cake is almost ready with just a few touch-ups and it will be perfect. So I have transferred my cake into a cake board. Now I am to place some chocolate shards. Making chocolate shards is pretty easy. Take some melted chocolate, spread that in a butter paper and then once it sets, cut that. So I have placed my chocolate shards over the edge. Now I have some chocolate shavings. So our chocolate cake is ready. Dig it right now itself or by refrigerating it for a couple of hours.